Welcome to Soul Rising. We're your hosts, Amy and Erin. We're two everyday mediums who are passionate about taking the woo-woo out of spirituality and bringing it down to earth. So put the kettle on, grab a chair, and join us. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Soul Rising.
Here we are. Is this episode 66 now?
Yep, it sure is.
I love that.
Yeah.
I just like numbers in doubles.
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. No, I do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do. I like alliteration too. Like I like when names have the same initial. Like I remember thinking, because our last name starts with B, and I remember like suggesting a B name actually for one of our children. It was Bailey. The name was Bailey because I like the name Bailey a lot. And I like Bailey for both male and female.
Yeah.
And it reminds me of like George Bailey, but then it also reminds me of the character Bailey from Party of Five. I don't know if you ever watched Party of Five, but there was a Bailey. Scott Wolf was named Bailey in that show.
Nice.
And so I remember I was like, Bailey Brookes. And my husband's like, absolutely not. That sounds like I'll tell you, well, it's kind of bad. What he said was, that sounds like a stripper's name. And I was like, first of all, there's nothing wrong with strippers. But second of all, no, it does not.
There's two things that I will address with your statement, sir. Firstly,
but I happen to like that. I like the double.
I do.
The double E. Yeah, I do. The double letters. It reminds me of it's funny we're talking about this, but since we're talking about this, I've shared about ancestry so many times, and I think I've shared on this podcast too that like how my daughter's name and my name have repeated in the family tree multiple times. Do you remember me talking about this? Well, so speaking of that, the woman that I was named after, her name was Amy, and she was the daughter of Abigail. I'm Amy, the mother of Abigail in this generation. But she married a man with the last name Ames. That's my nickname, Ames. In fact, that was my first username ever was Amy Ames. And I used to have like a live journal. Do you remember Live Journal?
Yes, yeah.
My live journal was Amy Ames. That's what it was called.
So cool.
And her name was Amy Ames. And I was like, you had the coolest name, Amy Ames. I love it. Yeah. So yeah, just weird stories that come to my mind as we're talking.
Yeah.
So we're here to do a heads up for May. So last podcast we did the April, and now we're back here in April, but giving you a heads up for May.
Yes.
And I'm working with a new deck. I got these decks kind of all at the same time. This, honestly, I was telling Erin, it takes a lot. Like I have a lot of decks. I've packed up a lot of them. You can't see my shelf because we're in construction.
You're unpacking.
We're in packing and painting and all that stuff. But there's certain decks that just really appeal to me right from the get-go. Do you find that too?
Yeah.
Where you're absolutely. Just like, this is it.
I love this deck. I love everything about it. I gotta get it. Yeah.
Yeah. That's how I feel about this deck. So this deck is called The Witch's Oracle. And it's by Sally Morningstar. So it's like a box, and then it has a slide out thing, and there's a big guidebook. Those of you on YouTube can see it. Really big guidebook. There's some really cool spreads at the end. There's like a chakra ascension spread, and there's a relationship spread, and then there's also a star spread where each one represents a different planet, and that was really telling when I did that spread. But I just love it. There's something about it. I mean, it's full of fingerprints right now.
That's okay though.
Very shiny, but I just love it, and so I want to work with this deck today for the May forecast.
Beautiful. Yeah. I know.
You're gonna have to get this one, I think.
I'm gonna. I know. Well, I want a new deck. I haven't gotten a new. I actually have not bought myself a new deck in quite a while. So
you go through spurts where you'll buy a couple and then you'll go like a year without any.
Yeah. I'm just going to be using our friend Kyle Gray.
Love that one.
We don't actually know him, but he is.
Can I tell you something funny? Since we're here already and we're talking about Kyle Gray.
No.
So
what happened?
Oh, well, not anything crazy, but it's maybe it's not that exciting. I don't know. But so I've been like drawn to him for years.
Yeah.
I randomly a couple weeks ago, maybe a month ago, listened to a podcast he was on, and he's an angel expert, right? Like
Yes.
works with the
Yeah.
angels and all this
Yeah.
kind of stuff. Listened to his story. And then later on that day, maybe a day or two later, I had this intense download after a Reiki session that I had done on me. And there was these messages about angels. And I was like, okay, interesting. Then I did a reading with somebody who is actually, we had a popper, currently in his angel training class. Okay. So she randomly brought this up to me, and I was just like, okay, universe. And then I had this Reiki session with a listener of the Soul Rising podcast who actually lives in Scotland. So, coincidences aplenty.
Yeah.
And she just recently took her level 1 and level 2 Reiki attunement.
Congratulations.
And shout out to her. And she did 3 healing sessions for me as an energetic exchange. So I am writing, a review for her in exchange for that. And in one of the sessions, she brought through that she saw there was an angel that came through, an archangel. It was Archangel Christiel, which she didn't even know existed. Yeah. I looked it up. There is an archangel. She works with Christ consciousness.
Okay.
So she works with the angelic realm. Now, Christ consciousness is said to be the energy that Jesus and Buddha and other, religious figures and spiritual mystics worked with Christ consciousness.
Okay. Yeah.
And so she had this image come through in this Reiki healing session that there was wings sprouting out of my back. And what was coming through was that I was being kind of initiated, prepared to work with the angels. Now, I talked about this on my other podcast because I was just like, whoa, what the heck, right?
I feel like I could feel that. Like, I don't know why, if it's just like a subconscious thing, but I feel like I can feel your wings.
But you know what's really funny is in a Reiki healing experience that I took part in.
Yeah.
It's like where the Reiki master will infuse the energy of the online experience with Reiki and walks us through this guided meditation. And then we go off screen for 20 minutes, experience what the Reiki wants to show us. Then we come back and we journal about it.
Wow.
In one of those experiences, wings came through. This was about a year ago. I was just revisiting my notes the other day, and it was this message about how the lungs are our wings. And if we think about breathing intentionally and taking really deep, like nourishing breaths, that like with the intention that this is connected to the divine, this is the angelic divine part of us, our lungs, and like picturing your breath, like your lungs opening and closing like your wings flapping. Yeah. And I remember that coming through, and I was like, that's so interesting. And then she brought up this connection again, and I'm like, it's all connected to Reiki, first of all. Like the Reiki energy is showing me this. But then this connection with the angels, so I was like, this is so weird. Cool. So then I was the client that messaged me about how she's taking the Kyle Gray angel course. She's like, so tonight I got to take part in a live call with him. Wow. And she's like, you're gonna, like, your mind's gonna be blown. And I said, why? So she took a couple screenshots. He was like doing this live call with the students, and he's like, first of all, he has a red fox tattooed on his hand.
Cool. Wow. Okay? Yeah.
And I'm getting a red fox tattoo here.
Okay.
Right? The connection with Red Fox and me. I talked about it before. Yes. Then he was kind of like a little bit like distracted, and he's like, hold on a second. My fox is at the door. And they're like, what? He took a screenshot of like his, I don't know if it was his doorbell cam or if he opened the door or what, but there's a fox that comes to his door and he feeds it every single day. And so she showed me this picture, this screenshot of the fox at his door. And she's like, I don't know, but I just felt like I had to share this message with you. And I'm like, something is leading me to Kyle. So I'm actually paying attention to when his next angel course comes out.
Yeah.
And just with that fox connection too. And I'm like, what is happening right now? So I had to tell you, as soon as you brought up Kyle Gray, I'm like,
Kyle.
I'm excited though. My client told me that this was in American dollars, but still, it probably wouldn't be too much more in Canadian. On Hay House, they often do sales on courses and stuff like that, and she purchased his course for like $200 American, and it's like a year.
That's not bad at all when you think about that.
And I'm just like, what? I was expecting way more. Like, that is totally
I was
manageable.
too, yeah.
So she said the next time I see that on Hay House, I will tell you so you can sign up.
That is so cool.
I was like, yeah, yeah.
I love that. Wow.
I love it too. Because apparently it's really in depth about the angels, and like there's online portals and courses and things you do about each angel and archangel. And yeah, I'm like, because I don't intentionally work with the archangels. Like, I am open to them coming through in like an intuitive guidance session. So sometimes an archangel will come forward and I will mention it, and it always makes sense for the client. Either it's like an archangel they work with, or they asked for that one to come through. Sometimes guides will come through in the same way, but I don't intentionally say, can your guide step forward, unless you ask me to, or archangels please come in. Like, I don't intentionally ask for them. But I feel as if maybe I should.
Remember that angel story I told you a while back with Maureen, when I had a reading with her a few years ago, where I was like, I want to connect with my angels, but I just, or my guardian angel, I don't know, wondering what their name is, kind of a thing.
Right. I think I remember this.
Yeah, I completely forgot about it. And then at the end, she was like, do you have any questions? I said, well, I feel like my guardian angel's name is Rachel, and I just wanted to, she goes, Erin, what did we say? She was like, literally said, I don't think we're going to get her this name until the end.
Yeah.
So that was just really cool. Yeah.
That's really cool. Yeah. I that was off topic for me, but I just had to share. As soon as I saw Kyle Gray, I'm like, I got a story for you.
I would love to. Well, let me know too when that course comes, because I might like to
take it with me.
Yeah. That would be really, really, I'd love to.
Yeah, we should do that. That's our like little bonding moment.
Yeah.
Take the course together. Yeah, I'll let you know for sure. Okay. I pulled 3 cards again.
Okay.
I was intuitively guided, so I don't know how many you're
I just pulled 2 because they came out together.
Okay. I had one drop on the floor, so the first one dropped on the floor.
I was like, if that's an angel card, I'm going to freak out.
I don't know if there is an angel card in this one, the Witch's Oracle.
The Witch's Oracle?
Maybe. You know what else I love about this book is that the beginning of it, there's like a history of Wicca, modern practitioners, paganism.
I like when books do that, like
witchcraft today, the persecutions, the Wiccan wheel, and there's things about how to make divination tea.
Oh, okay.
Let me tell you.
Yeah.
I'll read it to you. So it says, you may like to make this herbal tea, which will help to loosen the senses and open the mind, especially during Samhain. This mix is completely safe and legal, but please do not take this tea if you believe you're pregnant, on medication, or have any mental health issues. Now, I don't know why that comes in, that piece in the end, but you can do your research, right? Based on what these...
could be whatever's in the herbs.
Yes. Yes. So it says you will need 1 teaspoon of fresh thyme, 1 teaspoon of fresh or dried yarrow. I don't know what yarrow is.
I don't know either.
1 teaspoon of dried mugwort.
Okay.
1 cinnamon stick, 4 cloves, 1 bay leaf, a ceramic or glass container, orange blossom honey, and 1 1/4 cups of spring water. So the only really thing I have to buy here is the mugwort and the yarrow.
Yeah,
I've
me
got
too.
Everything else.
I feel like I have everything else for that.
So put all your herbs in a ceramic or glass container, pour boiling water over them and cover. Let stand for 5 minutes. Strain and sweeten with orange blossom honey to taste. Sip the brew slowly. Do not operate machinery or vehicles for at least 2 hours after drinking this tea.
What is in this tea?
I wonder if it would make you sleepy, because like mugwort is... Does it not help with sleep?
It might. I was
just reading a book about mugwort. It helps about... If you're somebody that doesn't recall your dreams, that drinking mugwort tea will help you recall them.
Okay, so it must have to do something with sleep.
I'm thinking maybe it would make you sleepy or drowsy.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I'm not totally sure, but I wanted to share that with you. And then there's also like for Yule, it has like a type of any directions, ingredients for an incense that you can make.
Nice.
There's also for Imbolc. How do you say that? It's not Imbolc. Oh wait, pronounced Imbolc. Imulk. I love when people put pronunciations.
Me too.
Imulk. This is February 1st. This talks about a milk libation.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what that is. Austera. Now that's March 21st. That's right around the time we're recording this. So that's a spring equinox.
That's cool.
Dream seed ceremony. I'll share this stuff with you afterwards, but I think it's really cool.
Wow.
I
need that deck.
Harvest bread. There's ingredients for that to make on August 1st when it is Lu Nai Sha. Is the first of the 3 harvest festivals.
Perfect.
Also referred to as the Llamas. I've heard of llamas before.
Okay.
Llamas.
Llamas.
Lammas.
I don't know.
It's the harvest season. It's like the first harvest season.
The first harvest
August
season.
1st. Yeah, so I love that because it gives all that leading up, the history, and then it like all the cards, and then there's spreads at the back. So
that's perfect.
I don't know. I feel like Erin will resonate with it. Now, the thing with Oracle decks, and we will be talking about this in a future episode, is that some just you're going to really love and some you're not going to resonate with. So it's kind of
like tarot cards. It's just like all this stuff, right? Even like people who do this work that we do. You're not
I was just going to say that. I was just going to say that because I had a conversation with a client last night, and I was talking about the importance of doing your research, right? And she's like, "Oh, girl, I researched you," and I was like, "Good, I'm glad you did." And what a compliment that you chose me after all that deep research. Yeah. But she was saying how she had a reading before, and it was just like somebody throwing spaghetti at the wall. And I said, well, it's not to say that there was anything wrong with the medium. Maybe you just weren't a good energetic match. Maybe it wasn't the right time, right? And she's like, yeah, probably. So it's important. It's a relationship between you, spirit person, and the medium. Yeah. And you're not going to love every person that you meet.
Nope. Nope. And I
right?
No. And I it's happened a handful of times where I just can't connect with somebody. Mm-hmm. It happens. Yep.
For whatever reason.
For whatever reason, right?
Not a good fit. And there's a lesson in that itself.
Yes.
Is learning not to take that personally. And just
absolutely.
Be like, you know what? Like that's one of the most life-changing things that I've learned since working with energy is that energy is not personal. It just is. There's some people you're going to magnetize, some people you're going to repel, and vice versa. You're going to feel that way about them, and it's not personal.
Yeah, exactly.
It just is. So let's just move towards the people that feel good.
Yeah.
And the people that don't, if they have to be in our life for whatever reason, we just don't personalize that as if we're doing something wrong. We just allow the relationship to just be for what it is.
And I agree.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That used to be the biggest, hardest thing for me is if somebody didn't like something about me or didn't like me, I would be like, why? Obsess about why. What did I do to that person? Right? I wanted everybody to like me, and I'm just like, whatever. Like, if somebody doesn't like me, that's fine. Yeah. It's not anything to do with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a big lesson in that.
There's a huge lesson in that. I feel like a lot of us learned that, hopefully we learned that. But we definitely all experience that, maybe especially as we're growing up, where we kind of want everybody to like us. And it's like,
like us.
But we don't question but do we actually like them?
Yeah. What's our energy saying?
Yeah. And I feel like, I don't know about you, but like as I got older and as I continue to get older, it's like, it's not about whether you like me. It's do I like you? Do I want to spend my time with you? Mm-hmm. Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just like a job interview. They're interviewing you, but you're also interviewing that company.
That's right.
There's a lot of truth to that. Yeah.
There's a lot of truth to that. Yeah. Maybe that for whatever reason, that spontaneous kind of information that just wanted to come in, that lesson, maybe it's part of me. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see as
what do the cards say? Do you want
the card?
You want me to go first?
Yeah, you go first. Okay. We'll switch it up this time.
All right. So thank you, Kyle, in advance for these beautiful cards and for these lovely messages. So I pulled 2 cards. The first card that I'm going to read is Ancestral Realm, which is cool because we talked about ancestors. The keywords are karmic release, healing the lineage, which actually healing the lineage and intergenerational trauma has also just come up, and boundaries. Okay, so I'll show the card for our YouTube listeners, and then for our visual learners, there are 6 rocks in a circle. Almost has this very Stonehenge-y kind of vibe to it, right through this like archway. And there is a beautiful sunset and light beaming down on these rocks. Okay, so it says, in every incarnation, we have been blessed to be part of a lineage that helps us live our life. That's interesting. We're talking about this with relationships, and embark on our learning experiences. And for hundreds and even thousands of years, those who have walked the earth before us have prayed for a better life. We are an answer to those prayers. Even though they
Yes.
may no longer be on the physical plane, our ancestors are living through our choices and our experiences. None of our ancestors had it perfect. After all, they were human too. They made poor choices. They even made mistakes. Many of their intentions were honorable, many were not. All of this is held within the ancestral lineage, as are many beliefs, ideas, and limitations that are outdated, fear based, and even harmful. Like this has come up also in our conversations. All these karmic energies can hold us back, but when someone decides to walk the spiritual path, whether they realize it or not, their life becomes an answer to their ancestors' prayers. This card comes to you, your life is your When this card comes to you, your life is an answer to a greater ancestral call. It says, there may be some ideas and beliefs in your family that you find limiting or negative. Who'd have thought? Know that they need not be your truth. This literally just came up the other day in a reading. You have the opportunity to go beyond the challenging energies of your family lineage. If you are in a particularly challenging time or facing energies that are harsh and even overwhelming, your ancestors are with you. They are here to hold a sacred and safe space so that you can rest. Your ancestors are surrounding you now. They are here to seek forgiveness for any harmful decisions they made without full awareness and for any negative effects those are having on you now. There's a little bit more, but I'm just going to kind of go down a little bit here and paraphrase. It says, keep your boundaries strong, but be open to carving a new path for yourself. So that is the ancestral realm. So a lot of, maybe there could be family stuff coming up for us this month, maybe just in relationships in general, because of course we know that family doesn't just have to be blood family, right?
Mm-hmm.
Family can be who we make it to be, right? Our friends, right? Our community that we've built for ourselves. So, yeah, there's a lot there with that. So a lot of healing, it sounds like.
And we talked about that a little bit I feel like it was the last episode.
Yeah.
We talked a little bit about unearthing things and a little bit about ancestral healing.
Yes, we did.
Yeah,
yeah, it came up. Cycle breakers.
That did come up.
Yeah.
So we've got that energy in May too.
Oh, this is cool. Okay, I just kind of realized that this is this an eagle? Or a hawk? Because it makes me think of that story we told with Pink as well. Okay. Mm-hmm. So the other card that came through is Soul Star Activation, fulfilling soul contracts and remembering who you are. So there's this beautiful, is that a hawk, Amy? Eagle?
I don't know. Yeah, something like that for sure. I don't know if it's a hawk or not, or if it's another bird.
Well, there's this beautiful large winged bird. Purple all around. And then there is this star, but it's like a 3D star image. It's a cube star, right? Wouldn't you say? It's like pyramid on top of,
yeah, I think so,
this surface. Anyways, really, really cool. I love the colors. Okay, so it says the soul star chakra is in the energy center that is found around 6 to 12 inches above the crown and connects us directly with soul wisdom.
Yeah.
Through our soul star, we access information and wisdom like a computer, connecting to the internet through a broadband. It's interesting because we've kind of talked about, our connection to spirit being very similar, mm-hmm. right? Accessing the internet. Okay. It says that's who this is. Okay. This is the Egyptian god Horus.
That's what I thought. Something was coming to me that it was connected to Egypt.
There
I was like, that's not a hawk. It's something else.
Because there's also the pyramid, that reference to the pyramid.
Yeah.
The Egyptian, but it is also a hawk. Okay, so the Egyptian god Horus appears on this card as our spiritual guide. His hawk-headed image is said to illustrate his connection to the sun, moon, and stars. Your message: through your previous journeys, you have learned much about the inner workings of your soul and the cycles of karma. Wow, this is like what we've been talking about. Before
Yeah.
this incarnation, you set a powerful intention to remember your divine origins. At this point, you are in a powerful space, for you are remembering who you are, and you know that you have it within you to make a great difference in your own life and the lives of those you love, and of course, the world. This is remembering. This remembering is in alignment with the soul contracts you made before coming to this realm. If you find yourself worrying if you are making the right decisions, know that even you aren't conscious of it all. All that you have chosen so far is in accordance with your soul's plan. Wow. And it says you are opening up on higher levels, which is interesting. Like talking about soul activations being initiated.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, I pulled that card before because that's the deck I use for my higher self readings.
Yes. Yeah.
I only use it for that. And I feel like I pulled that card up before, and it kind of, what was coming through to me was, and I feel like I want to share it because I'm reminded of it in this moment, was this kind of interwoven, you know, information highway,
Yeah.
since we're talking about all that, right? Like everything's kind of all interconnected. We talked about this a little bit in the last podcast. And you know, whether you're taking this shortcut or whether you're taking the long way, you can't mess it up. So spirit
Yeah.
actually was like quite
Yeah.
frank in one of these readings. It's like, you can't f this up.
Yes.
Okay, your decision
Yeah.
takes you, we're going to speed through it, we're going to take the short way because we have the awareness of, maybe we're going to move through fear, whatever it is, we're going to take the shortcut, or you're going to take the long way and it's going to get you to the same place. But either way, you're going to the same place.
Yes.
So it's like to help get you out of, so if you trust that, okay, my soul knows where it's going. When I listen to my soul and I take aligned choices, maybe that just means I speed up the choice. Maybe that means I get to go there quicker than I would have. And I feel like this is not connected to time. I feel like the long way, like maybe that means in the next life you continue the trek.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But I just feel like there's a release with that card. Like let go, right? Like let go and trust, and you're going to get there either way. You're going to get there either way. You can't mess it up.
Yeah. I always think of like this poet, and I think I've talked about him before, Yanis Mogani. Mojani. I'm sorry, I'm butchering the name. But he has this one poem, and it's stuck with me through these years, like for a very long time. And it's always like, call this the year of no mistakes, because the path you are on, you cannot fall off no matter how hard you try. So call this the year of no mistakes.
That.
Yeah. It's come through in readings. It's come through just for me. You know, I think of sometimes if I'm feeling a little bit like lost, right? Or like, did I make the wrong decision? Because you guys, guess what? Even mediums are human, and we also go through all these ups and downs. I think of those words, and it's just always brought things into perspective. So yeah. And maybe
it's
we
funny
needed to
you
hear
talked about you. I love that. Thank you for sharing it. But it's funny you also talked about, like, you know, even mediums are going through, you know, all these things, and it just it reminds me of, on my podcast I had my friend Kate, who is my Reiki master, come on an episode that's coming, that will have already aired by the time this one does.
Amazing.
But
so go listen to that.
Yeah, we were talking about this kind of idea, and how she was asking me if maybe this was on her podcast, because we recorded one for mine and one for hers. So her podcast is called Heal Here. I will link it in the show notes if you want to go over there and listen to it, because I don't remember on which episode it was we talked about this. But essentially we talked about how the best thing you can do as a medium is to live a really good life and a varied life. Like the more experience a medium has, the more life experience a medium has, the better, because then you've got the like reference for things, right? Like I talked about with my client last night. Spirit uses a medium's frame of reference. Oh, she's going to get this. She's going to know what this is. She's seen this movie. She's been to this place, whatever it is. And that helps build our spiritual, like, repertoire, I guess, our experiences. And I think I was thinking about that as you were speaking, like to live a really well life, but also to have those ups and downs, to make those mistakes, to experience all of that, because that gives us so much
It gives us those tools in
stuff.
our tool
Gives
belt.
us the tools. Yeah. I've been writing down, like, for the last 2 episodes, every time I look down and I see like a double number, right? So I started this in the last episode. I wrote down 555 and I wrote down 2727, and this one 2020 and then 3030. So I just wanted, if you're wondering, I don't know why. I just feel like the
I
numbers
like
are
it.
speaking.
I love it. Yeah.
The numbers are speaking to us
Yep.
today.
I think so.
I love that, Erin. Thanks for sharing those beautiful cards. Do you have anything else to share?
No, I feel like that was good. Yeah. What cards did you pull from the new deck?
From the new deck. So we've got 3 cards. Like I said, the first one popped out. So that's the one I'm going to reveal first. Now, this is interesting because it reminds me of a card that you just had with that star, that pyramid.
Ooh. Yeah. Yep. Pentacle. This is a star.
So it says evocation. How do you say that word?
Evocation.
Evocation. Ooh. So I'm going to read it to you. So first of all, I love this deck because it says the vibration. So it says the vibration is the elements, the keywords: manifestation, evocation, and protection. Then it has a couple little things here. So the pentacle is a sacred symbol of witchcraft.
Mm-hmm.
Each point of the star represents an element, the uppermost point aspiring to spirit. The pentacle is representative of the earth element in sacred ceremonies and is used with candle magic to earth wishes and dreams. The pentacle is above all protected and is worn to draw in the ways of the wise. The meaning: the pentacle reveals the need to believe in yourself. A child of nature by heart, you have a reverence for the old ways. Remember your ancient gifts and live in harmony. Pentacle can reveal the need to balance your energies and to maintain sacredness in all that you do. Protection may also be required. So she doesn't do reverse cards, but she does say, like, if it comes in, at the bottom it says the high note of the card versus the low note.
Yep.
So the high note of this is, listen to this, the high note: the ancestors guide you to wisdom.
No.
Come on.
Stop it.
The ancestors guide you to wisdom. The low note, so if this came in as a high note, okay, but like if it came in like this, it says draw what you need in order to progress, but it comes in like this. So the ancestors are guiding us to wisdom. Studying, remembering, and application of knowledge are highlighted with this card.
Wow.
Yeah, and that one flew out. So, and I just looked down and it's 3333. So my God, there's some energy. So I love this. I love it. Okay, so let's go to the next one.
I hope the spirits laugh with this.
Ooh, spell enchantment.
Oh, I like that one. Wow. Is that 33?
It's 32.
Oh, okay. Wow.
I know. Imagine if it was 33. Are you 32 now?
Yeah, but I will be 33 this year.
Okay. It's funny. I just opened the guidebook up to the right page. So the vibration of this one is astral, which is interesting because Soul Star.
Yep.
Enchantment, illusion, and fantasy. And so it says spells and incantations are spoken, written, danced, and created in secret rituals that remain hidden until the spell comes true. Mm. The magical potential of any spell requires energy, need, and focused concentration. Yeah. Herbs, crystals, spices, and sacred symbols are often used, as well as energies of particular deities associated with the content of each spell that is woven. The meaning of this card: the spell indicates that enchantment is in the air, that a magical theme is coming into your life, especially if you have been calling for something. Spell also advises you to look at self-delusion. You may well find that you wake up from a dream or illusion when this card appears in a reading. Wow. See life as it presents itself, as it is. We've talked about this. Look at things as it is. And remember, too, that when you follow the ways of the wise, you will be shown the truth. Expect it to be revealed. Wow. I love this. So this is, what did I say? Remembering.
Yeah,
remembering. And this is about, like, it feels like intention. Your words are your wand. I always remember that.
It's it's also like remembering why you're here, similar to the card that I pulled, like remembering that even though we feel limited here, we're not.
We're not.
We're not limited.
It just takes longer.
It just takes longer. And I think it's also the perception that we have, like our perception of reality. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I think it's about kind of trying to figure out how to maneuver and manipulate that reality. Does that make sense? Like trying to
Mm-hmm.
understand it and how you can kind of work with it in order to create and to manifest what you want. Because sometimes it feels so like we're limited here, but it's not. It's just a matter of trying to figure out how to weave through that fabric.
It's blowing my mind because I did an episode on the intuitive rising that I called cultivating cultivating with curiosity, I feel
Yeah,
like it called it.
yeah,
Did you listen?
I
It
think
was
I listened to that one.
essentially
Yeah.
like me saying like similar, like because I what I get from spirit is I feel like in the spiritual realm, we talked about a little bit of spirit, like spirit truths in one of the recent episodes we did, but how I feel like manifestation is immediate in the
Yeah.
spirit world, right?
Yeah.
Because of the vibration, the frequency, it's like this now, this now, this, right? It's
Yeah.
like immediate.
There it is.
And that as spirit, we are spirit and we're human, but we come here and it's like we have this some sort of remembrance
Mm-hmm.
of manifestation. I create. Word,
Mm-hmm.
the word is my wand, right?
Yeah.
Like that I create, I create, I create. But then the world itself is kind of set up almost as a challenge to that, where it makes you feel disempowered from that. And not only
Yeah.
that, we also have this, because the frequency vibration is more dense here, it takes longer for our manifestations to come to fruition. So if we're not like staying with it and staying hopeful that those things are happening, we lower our vibration and then it
Yes.
takes even longer. So I
Yes.
feel like my huge, the whole message I feel like in just life itself is in remembering, right? And I feel like we've seen that the more that you kind of keep that intention, you know that in your heart that what I'm co-creating life here, I'm creating my own life choice by choice by choice,
Yeah.
the things manifest to you a little
Yeah.
bit quicker. Do you
Yes.
notice that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I think that's a commonality. People
Some
notice, oh my
really
God,
big
there's
truth
something
to it.
to this.
Yeah.
There's something to it. And, I think that, I think that's a lesson in itself. There's another piece that wanted to come through and it kind of like, oh, about curiosity. I shared this
Mm.
experience of being kind of rejected from something multiple times in my life and really internalizing it.
Yeah.
And then having this moment just the last few months where I kind of looked at it with curiosity rather than judging myself or thinking I failed and went, what is that trying to
What was
tell
that?
me? And then
Right.
having a
Yeah.
light bulb aha moment about what it was trying to tell me. But I wouldn't have had that if I didn't look at those perceived failures or rejections with
Yeah.
curiosity rather than like, I suck, the world hates me.
Yes.
All of a sudden I was like, I'm curious about why.
Mm.
Everything changed for me
Yeah.
when I'm curious about why rather than, because if you really believe that life is unfolding, really for your highest and best good always,
Mm-hmm.
doesn't mean that shit doesn't happen in the moment,
Yeah.
but that it takes you someplace that you need to go as a soul. If we trusted that, I feel, and we had a
Yeah.
curiosity about why something didn't work, I feel like we would just
Yeah.
be so much happier.
I
I
agree.
think there's a message in that for
There
this
is.
month.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Lastly, oh my God, I
What?
can't make it up. Because I said your word is your wand. Look at this sword.
Oh,
Sword
so cool. Look at
aspiration.
that. Wow. Ooh, I love it. I love that card. I love that image.
You're
The
gonna love this
dragon.
deck. hmm So this vibration's throat chakra.
Mm-hmm.
Your word is your wand. Hello. Aspiration, truth, hopes, and fears.
Mm.
The sword is representative of masculine forces. It depicts the direction of energy having the ability to cut through. Sword represents air in the tarot.
Mm-hmm.
Upright meaning hopes.
Yeah.
So we got it upright. Downward being fears.
Yeah.
Legendary swords including Excalibur, the sword of the legendary King Arthur, and the sword of the Damocles. Okay. The meaning. Sword indicates the need to stretch yourself and your ideas beyond the realms of your hopes and fears. Let you can't make it up.
Nope.
Letting a sword cut through the veils that divide your perceptions will bring forth great truths about the path that you should now consider taking. Cutting
Wow.
through my own BS of like, I
Yes.
suck, I've been rejected.
Yep.
I'm to I'm curious about why
Yep.
the truth was revealed. You can choose to cut through confusion with the sword of silence, for example, or cut through frustration with the sword of patience and see what happens. Be aware of how you use your tongue in communications with others and guard against gossip or intrigue. Hold on to your own truth and be honest. Always aspire to your greatest good.
That.
Oops.
That.
Make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's funny too, because I'm thinking of like a daily tarot that's coming out for next week, which is not at the time that this episode will air, but something came through about um really like being in your highest, being in high integrity always,
Mm-hmm.
and making
Yeah.
sure that what you're speaking, whether it's about yourself, a situation, or somebody else, is kind of always well thought. Like, to make sure, if you think about your words or your wands, or the things that I think, the things that I say manifest in front of me in some way, um make sure that what you're saying is
Yes.
good.
Good.
um yeah, so maybe May, you might be feeling some confusion or frustration, or um impatience comes through
Yeah.
as
Or you're
well.
feeling like maybe there's a setback. That's the word that's coming through. I don't think it's a setback at all.
No.
I think it's the opposite of a setback.
Yeah, it's cutting through the, I'll just be frank, it's cutting through the BS is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
And I feel like the April guidance that came in on the other podcast talks about something about that too.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll have to reflect once that airs and see how they
See how it
correspond.
goes.
But yeah, like an energy of the spring, I guess. April and
Yeah.
May is kind of, so we had a lot of healing focus in April,
Healing past
heart
into,
chakra.
yeah.
And then this month is like more throat chakra.
Mm-hmm. It's true.
Communication, the element of air. This, I
Yeah.
mean, the pentacle represents earth, but
Yeah.
but air is included in this. um it's interesting because evocation and enchantment, I'm thinking of the word like evocation. What is the meaning of that? Is it like initiating, or
Yeah,
what
like to evoke what you want.
isn't that interesting? I thought so. So
Yeah.
evoking what you want, and then enchantment is like kind of also similar.
It's like yeah, there's a sense of like whimsicalness or mysticism that, well, for me, that comes through with that word.
And like, it's kind of like spell casting in a way, or like this is about, I feel like this is about clarity.
Yeah.
And then this is about like maybe like it's like the magic and the mundane is coming in, right? Like this is like about like getting clear, taking the action, setting the intention. This is about maybe some of your more magical, mystical, spiritual practices. And then this is like helping you cut through the BS. This is like helping you
navigate it.
Isn't that interesting? That's cool.
That's
manifestation cool. At an all-time high in May.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say that.
Yeah.
It feels like, be mindful about how you're thinking, what you're saying, because you're creating it. Especially highlighted in May.
Yeah. It almost feels like this, like the cards from, like, to put it into like kind of an image, the cards from Kyle Gray are like here's the picture, and then here's the painting, and then you've got the brushes. There's the tools.
Yes. And I love it too, because the message about like cutting through the BS, like the ancestral lines, the karma, the patterns, the things that have been, the subconscious patterns that have been keeping you stuck or in a certain place. And then this sword like cutting through it all and having that clarity. I love it. I also want to mention that I wrote down 4444 because that came in too a minute ago. So 2020, 30, 30, 33, 33, 44, 44 in this one episode alone. Isn't that crazy?
I love that though.
And I'm not like constantly looking at, like, that's just when I glanced at the time. Love it. I'm excited for May. I don't know about you, but it feels like this. I'm glad too, because we thought about making this the next episode so that it came in already in May. Yeah. And then we were like, you know what? Let's give a heads up. And now I see why that
is. Yeah.
because it's giving you really the heads up of like, be really mindful about
Be
thoughts,
mindful of thoughts. Yes.
communications,
Yeah.
what you're speaking is creating. Like, think about
Yeah.
as you navigate
Yes.
your month through that.
Thinking about like the things that like our ancestors are teaching us is like learn from their mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Does that make
Yes.
sense?
When you know better, you do
When you
better.
know better,
I
you do
always hear
better.
that from my ancestors. Yeah.
Yeah.
And hold on, there was this piece that wanted to come in about, it might have left me. That's okay.
Maybe it'll come
That's
back in
okay.
the next.
Maybe it will come back in the next episode.
Oh,
We're
this
gonna
was so good.
so fun. I love it. I'm
Yeah.
glad that we had that heads up. I
Me too.
definitely will. You know, probably a good month to journal, probably a good month to work on your affirmations.
Yeah. It's like gearing up.
Yeah.
Gearing up.
Yeah. Gearing up. Yeah. And I love it. Like spring just reminds me of that, when everything is like just ready to burst. Remember how one of the strawberry card in the April one talked about the,
Yeah.
the strawberry flower opening. There's a message. It feels like we are just ready to just ready to burst and open up. So it's like you being able to almost manipulate the outcome
Yeah.
of the rest of the year
I like that.
right now.
Oh, okay, goose. I was gonna say goose
I,
chills.
and it came
Goosebumps.
back in what I wanted to say. Something that comes in sometimes for me is like, when I make decisions, I've got in the habit now of intentionally thinking of my
Mm-hmm.
future self. And I'm like,
Yeah.
Amy at 50, does this help Amy at 50 become what she wants to become?
Yeah.
Nope, okay, I'm
Cool.
not doing it.
Yep.
I do that all the time now. And
That's
I
a
like
really good way
intentionally.
to, yeah, really good kind of image way to frame things.
Yeah, it can be anything for you, right? Erin in 5 months. Is this like whatever that
whatever
is?
you're doing, is it going to help
Is that
you? Is it
helping?
beneficial? Nope.
With
Let it go.
let it go. It's not getting you where. Sometimes it's just that check-in.
Yeah.
Like there's such an importance with the check-in is
Yeah.
coming in a lot lately.
And I think that's important too, because it feels like it's been very busy for everybody.
Yeah.
A lot of just movement, a little bit, right? And so when we have these periods of reflection, or these more quieter quieter, quote unquote,
Yeah.
but it's a cause for reflection. It's cause to go inward. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, we've shared about that too, like even in our own business. And I talked about Kate. I talked with Kate about that too. I feel it was on the episode she came on for me on the Intuitive Writing podcast, because she is, you know, taking some time off from her teaching position, a sabbatical kind of thing, so that she can concentrate on her spiritual business. And you know, that in itself, the challenge in that, and like working through like money mindset and scarcity and you know, all that kind of stuff. But we kind of talk about that in that episode. So if you're interested in viewing it, it is
definitely
episode
go check it out.
I will tell you, it's episode 13. It airs on April 4th, so it will definitely be out by the time this one comes out. And go
Perfect
listen
timing.
to it. She's my Reiki master, and she yeah, like I said, we kind of talked about that. And when things slow down, having the awareness now of like, okay, it's not slowing down because I suck or my business is dried up and I need to give it up. It's, I need a break, or something's going to happen during that time period and I'm going to need to be elsewhere. And like the freedom in knowing that. Yeah. It takes so much stress away.
It does.
Yeah.
I think that's also a great place to end on too.
I think so too.
A really great note. This has been so nice. What a nice, just I've got the feel goods, you know?
I got the feel goods about May and April, really. I'll tell you. I feel kind of empowered about May. That's another thing with that deck, the Witch's Oracle. I find it empowering. You know how some decks feel like can be disempowering in some ways? That one is not. That is empowering. Yeah. Okay. Have a lovely week, everyone. Bye. We'll see you in another few weeks. Bye.
If you like what you're hearing, don't forget to give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcast, and tune in each week as we dish on all things spiritual.
Don't forget to like, comment on what you would like to hear us talk about next, and subscribe.